Hey everyone, welcome back to the coffee break. Good to see you all again. Glad you can make it. As I get started on taking this little time out to share with you all, I have to admit that time has got away from me today, and that's because I've had a construction crew here helping get the final step to renovations completed upstairs in the loft. And it's taken a long time to get there, so I need to be present when I have them around. In any case, time did get away from me, and I realized that I haven't gotten a video vlog up today to share with you any of my thoughts or experiences or what's going on in my mind or my world. So I'm taking some time to do that right now. And I was thinking about something from last week. And so I want to share that with you and my thoughts about that with you at the same time. And that is this. I was looking at some job postings, and one of the job postings for which I decided to submit myself for had something to do with working inside a costumed character. Now, I've had experience with working in costumed characters throughout my career. In fact, I remember when I was in my 20s, I worked with something called the ABC Family Fun Fair and played a lot of different cartoon characters in a live stage show. And so this was something that would be very similar. And I also remember a job I had very early on in high school where I was a chicken on the side of the road. Now, don't ask me, what crossed the road what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because I won't be able to answer that for you today. But I was a red chicken on the side of the road promoting a diner restaurant that really was known for serving chicken fried steak. Anyway, I would go there and I'd stand on the side of the road trying to get people to come in for the lunch hour. So I have experience doing these costumed characters. Now, the thing about costumed characters that's interesting is it plays into a theme that I've had play out throughout my entire life, which I have mentioned many times and I keep coming back to. And that is something that my mom instilled in me early on. Was a saying that she used to throw at me: you are to be seen and not heard. Now, I know a lot of people have heard that phrase before, and it may mean nothing to many people, but for me, being an introvert and a loner and only child, that, what your parents say to you can have a great impact on your psyche and how you think about things and how you perceive things as you try to grow up and as you get older as an adult. There's no doubt about that. And what's interesting was when I saw this job posting for the costumed character that would have you play a Christmas type of character for the holiday seasons for a drive-through social distanced event, I thought, I'm going to submit for that because, I have experience in that area and I could do something Christmassy, whether it be an elf or a costume character or something like that. And, but it hit me as I was finishing up that submission that it's another job that requires you to sort of be present, but not really observed beyond that. So it comes back to that theme that I keep coming back to in my own personal life about being seen and not heard. Here was a job that would require you to be seen and not heard. They want your energy, they want you to get the work done, to be the worker bee, to entertain the crowds, but not to be recognized beyond that, and you don't exist beyond your character. So if you're a Frosty the Snowman for holidays, or a I don't know, what other characters would be for a Christmas thing? You know, if you're a cartoon character like I was in the my 20s, then you could be anything from Bugs Bunny to Daffy Duck to a Pound Puppy to a blob of toothpaste. All these costume characters require you to get inside of a suit and be completely covered from head to toe. You're never seen, really. But in this case, you're being seen for the image that you're creating. But you can't talk and you can't be heard because that's a licensing problem, because a lot of these characters have recognizable voices. And that again comes back to the idea of you are to be seen and not heard, sir. And just get out there and do the work, and when you're done, you don't exist. I've had that experience many, many times, whether it be in costume character situations or where you're being requested to come into a job situation where they only want you to get the work done, to be the worker bee, and they don't recognize you beyond that. Especially in my career field, it's very clear to me that there are many people who are producing work out there or are starting projects where they want people to come and be a part of the project, but only to fulfill the needs of that project. Anything beyond that just doesn't exist. Your opinion is not valued. Your voice is not something they're interested in hearing. It's their project and they want it to come off this way, and once it's over, you're gone. You just don't exist anymore. And it doesn't really lay down a lot of good foundational roots for which you can continue on with in collaborations or longevity, you know, in any sort of way, because you don't exist once the project's over. That's it. They don't even return your phone calls or emails. They don't want to stay in touch with you. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of people out there that are just sort of flaky about how they go about doing their business, and they don't even follow through with what the agreement is that you have with them for what you get in return. So it's really interesting to me, this whole idea of being seen and not heard, coming from my mother, and how it's played out through my life in my jobs and in my, not just my jobs, but my career and in relationships. You know, people that I have had any kind of relationship with, whether it be familial, romantic, or it would be acquaintances, potential collaborations, or work related, I find that they have an alternative agenda, if you will, ulterior motive towards gravitating toward me. And that is to get what they can get out of me and then move on. Once the novelty's done or the project's over, or you know, they got what they came for, it's over. And you have no value in their eyes anymore. In their minds, you don't exist. It's a strange thing, and I don't know how I feel about it sometimes, and other times I just recognize it when it's happening and realize, well, that person or group of people are not the groups or the people or the person that I need to be around. You know, they say you're supposed to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who value you and will meet you halfway. And I'm finding it harder and harder to find those kinds of people in my life to even, you know, call up on the phone once in a while. They just aren't there. They're so self-involved with whatever it is that they're doing. So you're completely out of sight, out of mind. Not to mention the whole idea about being seen and not heard. I have sort of a presence, but it's only worth a little bit of time and a little bit of respect, if any of respect at all. And that's my experience. And I'm sure there are many people out there who have the same kind of experience, but I just recognized it, and it sort of hit me the other day when I was going through this job posting and deciding to submit for a job that I thought I could do. I have great experience in the whole idea of being seen and not heard. And sometimes it makes a whole lot of sense, especially when you're considering that, you know, there are lots of people who have different opinions right now about this right here, this mask. This whole idea of getting a job where you're asked to put on a costumed charactered suit from head to toe, you're basically seen and not heard, is almost exactly the same as putting on one of these masks. You know, don't want to be seen, don't want to be heard, you know. And even though we're using these to protect ourselves and protect others, and there's a good purpose behind it, there's a similarity. And there are people out there that I see that are complaining greatly about wearing these, and it takes away their freedom, it takes away their voice, it takes away their spirit, I think is really what it comes down to. And I get it, I do. Because there are times when I really wish I didn't have to wear this when I go outside in public. But I understand and how that correlates with the whole idea of, you know, what we're dealing with pandemic and in our everyday lives, and how we can move forward with our lives with the same idea that I grew up with about you're to be seen and not heard, young man, and how that's played out in all my relationships. And I just find that very interesting, and sometimes I don't even know how to think about it or feel about it. It's something I've accepted on some level, and there are times when I can only go so far with it. And I really see that I'm not going very far with it these days. I am standing out, and I am using my voice to be heard and to be able to speak my mind. And I try to do that in a way that is not exactly unfiltered, because that's a whole nother conversation I don't necessarily want to get into right now because we don't have the time for it. But, you know, I don't think that I want to convey myself in a way that's offensive to most people. I would rather just be able to peaceably speak my mind. And if people don't want to hear it, they don't have to hear it. And if they don't agree with it, that's okay, because I'm not coming at people confrontationally in reference to ideas and thoughts that I have, or in my sharing of experiences or my observations. They're not meant to be offensive to anyone. They're just allowing me the opportunity to express myself. And that's what this coffee break's been all about for all this time that I've been doing them. And it's just an opportunity for me to think out loud and talk out loud and reflect on my experiences and observations. And I hope that people appreciate that. And that's what I'm thinking about this day as I reflect on this job submission, which I may or may not hear back on. But I can see how it all correlates and weaves together. And my concern is that something that I need to accept and embrace more, or try to let it go and try to move past it at this point in time and allow myself to be seen and heard the way I feel it's important to show myself as? Because if anyone doesn't want to listen to me, they're not going to listen to me anyway. Yeah, okay? But I would like to attract more people these days that are like-minded enough and respectful enough to other individuals that they would meet me halfway more often than not. And it's just so difficult with all the social media issues and, well, everything, you know. I'm sure what I'm speaking about today resonates with a lot of people out there. And they're hurting. There are a lot of people that are hurting. I'm well past a lot of it now, but I do recognize it when it happens or when I see it, and I'm making decisions and choices accordingly. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific that I didn't want to forget to tell you, so I'm going to look at my notes real quick here. Yeah, mask. Yeah. Yeah. Well, nope, that's pretty much it, you know. You're putting on a mask, you're getting job postings that ask you to put on a suit. You're asked to just, you know, not express yourself, just do the job, just do it, do it, do it. Don't say anything, don't talk back. You know, if you don't have any questions, you know, don't ask any questions. Geez, it's, you know, you can't live your life always succumbing to what the world expects you to be and, you know, what they're telling you have to do when it doesn't fit you. And I find that I'm not fitting in anywhere in any way, shape, form, or fashion these days, and that people don't gravitate to me at all so much anymore. In fact, they probably are repelled by me more often, which I attribute to how I look more than anything. And, you know, I just see all these things going on, and I'm almost perfectly content not to get too greatly involved in anything anymore, unless that I see some benefit in it. And otherwise, you know, it's almost like you're just standing in the middle of a crowd, hiding in full view, is what my friend in Oklahoma would say. You're just sort of there, but people don't see you. And that's what I see in some of in this job posting, and how it reflects on what my mother used to say to me: "You're to be seen and not heard." And how that even correlates to masking up these days. Boy, it gets really deep, doesn't it? I mean, I could talk about this for a whole lot longer, but, you know, this could go on for way too long for a coffee break. So I'm going to close it right there. But if this resonates with you and you have some thoughts to share, you have experiences or observations or comments to make, please leave them in the comment boxes below. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, subscription button, and the notification bell. And I'd ask that you share it with anyone you want to share it with if you feel so inclined. And I will come back and see you again real soon. Until then, I hope you have a great night, and I've given you something to think about in your own life. So I'll look forward to seeing you later. Until then, have a great evening. Bye-bye now.